Oh, g'day. Welcome back to my channel. Now it's time for another one of my The Untold Gooch. Yes, this is where we tug at the mysterious problems that mystify and perplex modelers. Yeah, if you can't figure it out, well, neither can I. No. In my tugs, I will pull and I will strain and I will groan until I get the solutions to problems. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I will spare no expense at all. Well, not my money anyway. We'll do it free on YouTube. Yeah, there's a good idea. All right, now enough of that. What is this week's tug about? Okay, well, I'm interested to know, is it better to build a plastic kit or is it better to buy a wood kit? Same subject. And I happen to have two bounties here. So this tug is about the difference between wood kits and plastic kits. Are they better? Are they worse? Are there certain things in one that's better than the other? Who knows? All these things will be demystified as I start tugging. Roll the music. So, the question is, wood or plastic? Which one is going to feel better? All right? Which one will be more... Bloody gremlins around here. Here's an example. Plastic. Plastic sales fall off. No, well, I normally do cloth sales, actually. So, no, okay. Let's get serious about this subject. Okay. Now, plastic kits and the wood kits. All right. Well, if they're aircraft, generally the plastic kits are far more detailed. They're probably smaller. You know, the wooden kits are generally going to be flown. You know, I built a lot of radio control and control line aircraft when I was a kid at a balsa, and those kits weren't bad and they were fun to build, but I'd never say they were accurate representations of the actual aircraft. No, they were fun. They're nice. They looked like it. But I mean, everything was kind of a bit out of whack because it had to fit with the machinery that was required in them, so they could be flown. And that's how it was. I know these days there's some people who build absolutely brilliant and absolutely beautiful replicas of aircraft, and they radio control and fly them. But I don't think you can buy those in the kit ready to go. They're scratch built predominantly. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been out of that game for a long time. But I've seen in the shops the wood kits, and they're kind of the same ones that were around when I was a kid, and they're nice. They build up lovely, and you can certainly chuck motors in them and, you know, have a lot of fun flying them, but they're not accurate. Okay, so it's up to you then to do a lot of work if you want to make that thing more accurate, and you may have to redesign it completely. So in that case, generally, unless your thrill is flying, the plastic kit's going to be a lot more satisfying. It's more accurate, there's a lot more details, a lot more aftermarket, there's all kinds of things you can do. It probably doesn't take as much room. I mean, you know, a wooden bloody aeroplane is going to be fairly big. It has to be so it can lift off the ground. All right, it has to be big enough so it can get basically an air effect, dynamics, aerodynamics can take effect. Whereas, you know, plastic planes can be small. So there you go. And there's cost, of course. Wooden kit's going to be quite expensive, and the motors and the control line, and then all the bandages you have to wear, because every time you cut your finger off starting them, then crashing them and redoing them, and all the psychology you'll need and disturbance from the people that actually fly those kind of things. Yes, you know who you are. I'm talking to you. No. All us modelers are both diseased. We all have it. We all have the problem. Right, so we'll leave aircraft there because I can't really speak authoritatively on that. So comment. Let me know. Do you fly model aircraft? Do you build model aircraft? Well, most of you bastards do. But everyone builds a bloody airfix kit. Tamiya kit. Yeah, you all build aircraft. All right, let's just leave that. Let's move on, right? Let's move on. I just need a bit of a coffee here. It was a big week, yes. As I've said before, if I've got nothing done on my bench, then we just give you guys a little tug. That'll keep you happy, you know? Keep you distracted for a while, put a smile on your face. And yeah, it was a big week. It was Bernard's birthday, and a number of other people I went out and saw movies, and oh, look, you know, huge bloody week. Went and saw Midway. It's actually not too bad. A lot of people bagged it. There are problems with it, but it's worth going to see. If you're a modeler, boy, you see a lot of stuff. Yes, anyhow, enough of that. All right, so got nothing done this week. We're doing a tug. Let's get on with it. Right, wood. Plastic. Now, let's look at my bounties, because I've been asked about those, because I scored this one this week. Okay, it's a 150 scale, 1 to 50 scale of the bounty, and it's by Constructo, and they're out of Spain. Okay, it is a very detailed kit. It is hugely detailed. There's a lot going on, but admittedly, it is twice the size of my little plastic bounty. The bounty is a 110 scale Revel kit. It's a very old kit, lots of flash, lots of problems. Did a ton of scratch work on it. If you haven't seen the videos, go back and watch them. I did a lot of work on that to bring it up. And then I made cloth sails and I rigged it. So essentially, if you're talking difference between wooden ships, I'm talking sailing ships here, wooden ships and plastic ships, if you're going to go the cloth sail and rigging route, well, it'll be identical, essentially, especially if they're both the same scale. So there'll be as much work to rig that great big bounty as I've put into my little one. In some ways it'll be easier because you can get your fat fingers in. If you're a wombat like me and you've got fumbly big fat fingers and you've got bandicoot eyes, you can't see a bloody thing, and you're fumbling all over the place and got glue up your nose. Yes, the big kit does allow you the freedom of more access. So there's that. You're going to go through a lot more string, of course. Sure, you're going to need a lot more cloth. A lot of the time we don't put sails on the wooden kits. You'll see a lot of the ones that are done really well, they leave the sails off because you won't see the rigging. See, when the sails go in, most of your rigging's hidden. And that's the trouble with my bounty. I shoot a lot of photos of it from behind to show you what I'm doing, because the back of the sails is where all the rigging is. When you turn it around and the sails in front, 90% of your work, gone. Not there. So say the same thing here. I could put the sails in, I might not, I don't know. I might just build that wood one without the sails, just for the heck of it, because that way I can really go berserk on the rigging, probably add a few more lines that I didn't do on the bounty, and it'll all be seen. It'll all be rather nice, and they'll look distinctly different. So there's a difference. Now, price. Okay, yes. Price can be the thing. Now, if we paid retail, bounty, retails here for 6 shekels. Shekel conversion chart. I'm going to use shekels because it's going to be a nice, easy way to do numbers, okay? But it's essentially 1 shekel is $10 Australian, all right? So you're going to need about 3 shekels for $20 Australian, something like that, all right? Was it 4 shekels? I don't know. Look at the chart. I can't remember these bloody things. I'll have to look up all the exchange rates and update my chart. It's changing all the time. Dollar's going crazy. China's full of bloody people that are dying. There's floods. There's rain. There's fires. Yes, flooding here now. Yeah, after all those bloody fires, right? Australia's burning. Now, Australia's drowning. Yes, we have a lot of fun in this country. All right, now where were we? We're talking about, right. So the Bounty plastic kit, very old kit. It's about 6 shekels here. I got mine for 5. You can get it discounted. You might even get it for 4. Okay, that's it. Now, the retail price on the Constructo Bounty is 30 shekels. Right? 6 to 30. Ooh, it's 20 times more expensive. Well, here's the problem. And if you bought probably the better model, and I believe it is the Billing Boats Bounty, well, you're looking at 40 to 50 shekels. So 6 shekels, 50 shekels. It's nearly getting to be 10 times more expensive, okay? And that can be a deterrent, because you really got to be thinking, well, am I going to invest that much more money and I can have just as much fun with the plastic kit? Well, you've got different scales, at least here. You've got one that is twice as big as the other. But I've got a bounty here that's 72nd scale, so it's not much smaller than the 150th, right? And that's an old Airfix kit. And I picked that up for actually 5 shekels. So about the same price I paid for the bounty, but it's a lot bigger than the bounty. So I could build that. Alright then, so let's assume that money wasn't a problem and you just basically want to build them. Well, here's the thing, time. Wooden ships are going to take time. Sure, if you're doing the rigging, and we're talking sailing ships here, I'm not really going to talk about battleships and everything, because basically there's not a lot that I know of, wooden kits for, battleships and cruisers and things like that. Generally wooden kippers. I'm hungry. Bask, put some kippers on.
Meow, meow.
Wooden kits tend to be more labour intensive. Your detail can be the same at the scale, because wooden kits come with a lot of aftermarket type stuff, but built in. So you get metal barrels, you get carriages and things for your cannons, you get little belay pins and all kinds of stuff. You get a whole ton of stuff. You even get a string in these bloody things, okay? And the sails, the works. You get everything. You buy that box, and that's basically, you don't have to really buy much more. You don't have to actually buy anything more. It's there. But if you're building one of these and you're building it the same rate you build plastic kits, so if you're working on a plastic kit maybe on the weekends, so it's going to take you a couple of months if you could pull your finger out and don't get mucked around like I do. A couple of months you might build a bounty, right? And you might use the plastic sails. You do a bit of basic rigging on it. Or so a couple of months you'll have a bounty out. It'll look quite good, look quite nice, fairly easy. You'll have the hull for the bounty together in an hour. The plastic kit. In the wood kit, oh yes, building the hull, especially if it's a plank on plank one or plank on frame one, it's going to take you a while. You have to build up a frame. Okay, hopefully I've got some pics here to show you examples of, not necessarily that kit. You build up a frame. And then on that flat frame, oh God, I can't speak today, can I? It was all that ginger beer I had with Bernard. Bernard says, my birthday. It was Bernard's birthday last week. Yes. He's 55. Sorry, Bernard. Anyhow, I had all this ginger beer and I thought I'll be okay. He's drinking beer, I'm drinking ginger beer. It should be okay. But I should have realised it was coming out of a tap. The guys were pouring it. So, a couple of pints later, I was a bit wobbly. I don't drink. Anyway, I digress. All right. So, with the hull on a wood kit, you've got a frame. You're going to basically glue and put on wooden planks, which all have to be bent to shape. And that's a fiddly job to bend them around the curves. There's a bit of an art in that. And then once that's all together, that all has to be sanded back smooth. And sometimes you might even put a second layer on. Sometimes in some of the kits, the first layer you put on is simply just the base layer to get the basic shape. And you sand that back smooth. And then you put on the finished layer, which is the type of timber that you want the model to end up with. Because one of the advantages of wooden kits is you can varnish them. You don't necessarily have to paint them. Right? You can, and you do paint some stuff, but you can varnish them up and they look lovely. They're wood. Why waste and why hide that beautiful textured natural substance? With a plastic kit, you're going to paint it. Well, you could just do it in plastic, I suppose. So I've done that when I was a kid, just build up a whole bloody ship out of plastic. Hey, look at that! So there's definitely more labour involved, and whereas in a plastic kit you'll already get the parts moulded and hopefully not covered in bloody flash and all the rest of it, and you let's just say you're not scratch building them, there they are in the kit. That's it, you pull it out, clean it up a little bit, whack a bit of glue on, bang. Okay, in a wood kit you'll get a couple of pieces of wood and it'll say cut this to this shape, because you get a great big plan, right? You get this great big plan to work on. You actually get a 1-to-1 scale plan usually with a wood kit. Okay, so you work off that. It's the same with the aeroplanes, 1-to-1 scale plan. You lay everything down on the plan, you pin it in, you glue it, you build it all up, same sort of thing. So you're always using your plan to check. So you have to form and shape and cut and sculpt just about every part on a wood kit. There are exceptions. These days they have a lot of laser cut parts, and that's good. So you've got laser cut hull formers and things like that. The really difficult stuff where you've got to get the curves and the shapes right, they provide that to you ready to go, which has made it a lot easier. A lot easier. In the old days, you just get a plan and a block and a whole lot of bolts on, and they say, build a kit. Build yourself a boat. There you go. There's a plan. You can figure it out. But a lot of that's done for you in the wood kits. And I'll do a proper review on the bounty kit, the wood one, probably in the next few weeks, and show you exactly what you get. So you get the laser cut stuff, and then the rest of it are just sheets and strips of wood and dowel that you've got to taper and you've got to shape and you've got to form, you've got to cut. And none of it's terribly difficult. But if you're not a woodworker, or if you're sort of scared of doing stuff like that, then yeah, it's not for you. If you just want to cut the part off the sprue and glue it in, you're a plastic person. Okay? Yes, and I mean that nicely. I'm not saying that you're a plastic person, that you're basically just like a Ken doll, you don't have any genitals. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know. Who's to judge? We're not allowed to judge anymore. Okay, if you haven't got any genitals, that's okay. Wood kits are more satisfying. If you're into it. If you're not into it, you'll bloody hate them. But for a wood kit to have shaped and sculpted and formed and made all the things, that kit is yours. It's not going to be like anyone else's. You have built it and you have decided what to do, and you have shaped and formed and put things together. And there's no tabs and slots. Very rarely. There might be a couple on a kit, but generally you decide where everything goes. You do it. Any mistakes are yours. Right? Any adaptations and changes you can do. You can customize and you can scratch very easy on a wood kit, because essentially the wood kit is mostly scratch work, because you've got to do it. You've got to actually build it up. So that's good. But a plastic kit can be equally satisfying, and sometimes more satisfying. You get a result much quicker, and the sculpting has already been done for you by the model creator. So you're basically just gluing parts together. You can do extra work to it, as I've done, like in my bounty, put a bit of scratch work on, and that for me made it more satisfying because I like to fiddle with things, right? I like to pull things. So there's two. Now, accuracy and detail. We're going to say, no, plastic kits are more accurate, and plastic kits have got photo etch these days. Yes. Well, guess what? The wood kits now come with photo etch. I mean, they always came with like brass barrels and things like that, where you could get brass barrels and brass fittings for them, right? I mean, way back, you would basically make everything out of wood. You would shape all your cannons and everything. But that was back to that, I've got a plan, and from that plan, I'm going to make everything. Well, the kits came out, like Billing Boats was one of the ones that started bringing out some brilliant kits where everything was included, all the extras. The cannons were there, the bits were there, a lot of things were done for you. The hull shapes and all the profiles were done and cut out, and that's made building a wood ship more affordable. Well, again, more affordable. I've got a Billing Boats kit that I scored in the sales, and it was one I looked at when I was looking, thinking, I could do with a wood kit. And I think it's about $700 with all the extras if I was to buy it. And then I have to get it shipped. Really can't speak today. Got to stay off that ginger beer. Then you can get it shipped all the way from Scandinavia, okay? And, it's probably going to cost you just quite a bit. So let's just say 7 or 8 T shekels. All right. I was lucky. I picked it up in the sale. They said any sensible bid over 200. I bid 201, which is 20 shekels, okay? And I got it for my 20 shekels. And, that's an incredibly cheap wood kit. It really is. And the postage wasn't much at all because the guy doesn't live far from me. So that's the thing. And I've scored 4 wood kits now. 1 I got for free. I'll tell you about that another day. 2 I paid 20 shekels for each. I only paid 7 shekels for my wooden bounty because it was a sale, and also because someone had started it, buggered it up, and it looks like they just didn't know what to do and complete it. But it's okay, I know how to fix the buggering up. I'll explain that more when I review that kit, and I'll show in detail, and I'll show you what they did and how I can see where they got to and went, oh no, what do we do? Okay, and being a woodworker and having built wooden boats and aircraft before, I know exactly what to do. So it's not a problem, not a stress. So for me, I got that kit for like 7 shekels. Well, I paid 5 shekels for the plastic one. In that case, my wooden kit, which is a model twice as big, and I'm going to have a lot more fun with, is much better value for me. That's fantastic. And my other wooden kits that I've got, especially the one I got for free, although the one I got for free, the guy just about finished it, just wants me to finish it off. So essentially, I'm not getting the whole kit. He just couldn't do the rat lines, the rigging, everything, so he's left that to me, and he's buggered up a few other parts. So I'm only getting 10% of that kit, so 10% of free is still pretty good. The other 2 Billing Boats kits that I scored for like 20 shekels each, they were just bargains, absolute bargains, nothing wrong with them. I don't think there's any parts missing. Everything's there. I mean, every brass cannon, tiny little photo etch filigree, it's all there. So I was lucky. And that's the thing. If you've got the money, sure. And if you've got the time, wood kits are fantastic. They're very rewarding. There's so much you can put into them. There's so much of yourself that will be in the build. So it's very satisfying. When you finally finish it and put it on display in your house, it becomes a masterpiece. And it's almost an heirloom then. It's a fantastic thing. But your plastic model, well, it'll be as disposable as any plastic model. It'll gather dust just like anything will. Depends. I mean, I put a lot of work into my bounty, so it's sort of edging towards the level of work and dedication of the wood one. That's my plastic bounty, right? I put so much into that. Anyhow, those are my thoughts. That is my musing. That's what I have pulled and tugged at for your entertainment. So, plastic kits, wooden kits. I think they're both great, at least for ships, okay? The aircraft, maybe not so. I'd probably steer towards a plastic aircraft. But with a ship, most of the time I'd like to build a wood ship if I could, if I got the time. I'll still build plastic ships because there's a lot of subjects that aren't sort of available, and vice versa. There's subjects in the wood ships that you simply don't get in the plastic. So there you go. What do you think? What do you think about it? Would you rather have had a video about tanks? Yes, armour guys, suck it up. Probably didn't even get to the end of the video, so we can make as much fun of you as we like, because you guys were oh bloody hell. Ships again, Harry. Ships, for God's sake. Where's the armour? You used to build tanks. It used to be entertaining. It used to be good. You used to play a banjo. Played harmonica last time. Yeah. Might be doing that again. Barrage of complaints. Yes. The complaints were, why couldn't you put more of it? All right, look at the time. I've waffled on long enough. This is the longest tug I've had in ages, I can tell you. All right. So wood kits, plastic kits, there's merits to both. let me know. Have you built a wooden kit? Have you built a plastic kit? Well, of course you built a plastic kit. Have you built them of the same subject? I mean, what was the comparison? What do you think? Would you build a wood kit? Did you know nothing about wood kits? Are you scared of wood kits? Are you frightened of splinters? Let me know, okay? Comment, subscribe, like. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. All right, that's it for this tug. So it's goodbye from Australia as hooroo from Harry Houdini.